Medical Monday, talking about hearing loss with Dr. David Gnewikow out of Mount Juliet. We're going to jump right to the lines. Let's go to Cynthia first. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
Go ahead with your question.
Yes, I want to get any and all the information, if I may, from Advanced Hearing Solutions.
Sure, as in the phone number and address?
Yes, and send it to me by mail if possible.
Well, we can't do that, but here's what I can tell you to do. Go ahead and get a pen and paper ready, and at the end of this show, we will put up information on the screen. So go grab your pen and paper right now, wait a couple of minutes, keep tuned in, and we'll give you that information, okay? Thank you, Cynthia, for calling in. We appreciate hearing from you today. Let's jump to Mary now. Mary, I am sorry. I thought I took you earlier. I'm sorry for keeping you on the line, but go ahead with your question.
Okay. My question's kind of changed in the course of listening to both of you speak. I will tell you that I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I've had radiation treatment. And I also swim quite a bit. And my hearing loss was sudden. It wasn't gradual. And so I was just kind of concerned if there's any indication that radiation treatment might have affected the hair cells, the chlorine, if it's just an age thing. So what my other question has kind of distilled down to is kind of what the future is for repairing some of those hair cells.
Right. Mary, I'm going to put, before I let Dr. Gnewikow answer, I'm going to put you on hold because we have a lot of static on your line, so you'll be able to listen to the TV. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Mary, you listen to the TV. I'm going to let you answer.
Okay, so that's a really good question, Mary. So there was a couple different things you mentioned. I'm going to try to remember them all. Okay, first I'm going to say chlorine is not bad. Certainly getting water in your ears can have a temporary effect. We've all had that situation, gone swimming and want to knock the water out of your ears, but that's not causing a permanent problem. Radiation, chemotherapy can have some effects on hearing. It depends on where you receive radiation. If you've had to do this, breast cancer, hopefully that's not affecting the head, the ears as much, but it can. If you've had different types of medications to treat cancers, can have some effect on hearing. But usually those are, I won't say they're extremely gradual, but they're not like you wake up one morning and you've lost hearing. And you said yours was a little bit more sudden. So neither of those may have had any effect. Absolutely, if you've had a pretty sudden onset hearing loss, I think it's worth getting everything checked, seeing an audiologist. A lot of times when we have a sudden hearing loss, if we don't have a real good explanation for it, we might refer on for an MRI or something to look a little bit deeper than what we can see with our test and what we can see with the inner ear. Second part of your question, I'm trying to remember, was what's going on with research on hair cell, we call it hair cell regeneration. There has been research on hair cell regeneration for a number of years. I can remember when I was in school, which unfortunately was more than a couple years ago, they were doing some of that research. I tell all of my patients this. I think at some point we will probably have a medical treatment to slow the progression of hearing loss, whether that is a surgery, probably not a surgery, whether that is stem cells or some type of medication that treats the symptoms that cause hearing loss, or the conditions that cause hearing loss, rather. I will be surprised, and I hope I'm wrong, but I will be surprised that if in my lifetime we see a cure for hearing loss, or we see a medical treatment that actually regrows those hair cells. They've done it in a laboratory, they've done it in some animals, they've started some things in human trials, but none of them have been really regrowing them back to what a normal ear would function. Sometimes they were able to see some improvement and then it went back away, or they would see, in laboratory animals improvement in hearing and then they lose the improvement in hearing, or they see maybe some steady stop of the decline of hearing loss. But I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we're going to see in the next 2, 5, 10 years that a medical breakthrough that actually cures the problem of these damage to the hair cells. One of the biggest challenges, and I know we got somebody else waiting, but I'll real quickly say this. The inner ear, the cochlea, which is the organ of hearing, If you've ever seen a picture of an ear, it looks like a little snail. The problem is that organ doesn't really exist. It's just a tunnel through bone. So it's not like you have a little pea in your ear that they could pull out and replace. It's really just a tunnel through bone. So going in there and trying to repair that is no small task. So it's going to be done more medicinally or through stem cell treatment, some type of injection that hopefully helps improve that. That's an excellent question.
Yeah, thank you, Mary, very much for hanging in there. Okay, we have Dilly on the line. Hello, Dilly. Dilly, are you with us? I'll make sure I got. Oh, Dilly, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm on disability, and I've been to a hearing aid center, and they said I need a hearing aid. But ma'am, I can't afford, $3,000-4,000. And the man at the time said, well, sometimes we have people come in to upgrade, and talk about the used hearing aids. Do y'all do that? And I'll hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you, Dilly.
Dilly, that's a very good question. That's one that we deal with a lot. So we've talked a little bit about cost of hearing aids, and you're right. I mean, hearing aids are a relatively expensive item. For the most part, insurance doesn't cover hearing. I'm not saying that's true across the board. We do see some people, but a lot of people do not have insurance coverage for hearing aids.
Medicare does not.
Medicare does not cover hearing. So it is a pretty expensive proposition. So a couple things that we do to help. Number one is we do have a program whereby you can get what's called a reconditioned hearing aid. And I think that's what Dilly is talking about. So somebody either turns one in, we send it back to the manufacturer, basically have the parts reconditioned, and then we sell that at a lower cost. The disadvantages to that, a lot of times you're not getting a warranty like you would with a new one. You're not getting the latest and greatest technology, but we've helped a lot of people, at a much lower cost. The second thing we do, and to my knowledge, we're the only people in Middle Tennessee that do this, we do financing in-house, and we do it at no interest. I mean, you're subject at times to a credit check, but that lets a lot of people get help for hearing that can't come in and just slap it on a credit card or write a check. And especially since insurance doesn't help. We have people paying $150 a month or $200 a month for a hearing aid, or maybe a little bit more for a pair of hearing aids. That lets you basically break that out instead of having to swallow all of that at one time. There are a few organizations out there, depending on income, that you can just kind of look up online. One of them is called Hear Now, and so that's something that you might check out online.
All right, thank you. Okay, Dilly, I hope that helps. We're going to take a quick break. Get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to give you Dr. Gnewikow's number and address when we come back. Stay with us.